All right, this last match review of the evening comes to us from the good old Derek. The Magnificent Bastard has 1.5k hours in the game, so a little bit over that 1k hour zone where I expect people to know most of the fundamentals. So I expect you to be fairly all right at macro and micro pressure in terms of your fundamentals. Your Undisturbed Ward, though, which I have rated in the Xeno Guide, is a top or bottom 5 worst map for Xenomorph. It's Disturbed Ward's kind of just like a bottom 5 map for killer in general, but the lack of good control station spawns, you have to cut coin to even get one upstairs. In addition, with a lot of the loops being very on-tail attack friendly, it just kind of creates for a really nasty situation. Let's look at add-ons to your perks. Okay, so you should always be running at least one turret perk, anti-turret perk. You're using Emergency Helmet, which is my favorite, as not only in addition to the 35% stagger it provides, also provides an extra like 0.3 seconds in power, which is pretty nice. Even though it doesn't list that it does that. It provides Cattle Prod, is a really underwhelming perk or underwhelming add-on. It only goes off a max of 5 times a match, and honestly, you already have one of the best base kit info kits in the game, so running info anything on this character is already like much weaker, much less an iridescent that only goes off 5 times a match. I'd much rather put anything else here. Not anything else. There's stuff like Molten Skin Light Wand, I'm exaggerating, but other things I put here, the other anti-turret perk, Lambert Star, self-destruct bolt for vaulting, semi-auto keyboard, helps you keep track of gens, stuff like that. In terms of your build, you have Run Undying, Pain Res, Grim, which is an aggressively strong build with 3, technically, if you want to put him as a whole 4 slowdown. I never typically recommend people run 4 slowdown in terms of the match reviews, because it's going to teach you to like have it's going to teach you bad habits and kind of erase your mistakes instead of like making those mistakes fairly obvious so you can actually improve on them. Pain Res Grim is a really strong combo. Root Undying is not as good as it used to be, but can still serve as combo as long as it stays up. So honestly, yeah, I would if I was going to get rid of something for this build, I would not go with the Run Undying combo. And that would be the 2 perks I would remove instead of just running 4 slowdown. Get a control station right away. Jeez. That's very loud. You don't have to stop to listen. It'll happen as you're moving. Yeah, you don't have to stop to listen. That'll happen as you move. Yeah, they're going towards that one. You don't have to wait and watch them. You can just go get out right now. The footstep ores linger after you get out of the control station for like a second and a half, I believe. I think that's the number. But yeah, they linger a bit when you come out of the control station, so you don't have to like follow them to a T in the tunnels before you get out, because they will show up on the top side for a little bit. Well, Ghost is here. I think Ghost actually responded to you a second ago. Get a strong pot out of the way. Pretty fairly good chase early on. It's a problem with the Run Undying. It's not that crazy, and once people start popping totems, that's it. Deal with that. If you're unaware, it is quicker to M1 a turret than it is to tail attack it. So never ever in a situation where you're that close to a turret, you should ever M2 it. Always M1 whenever possible. It's quicker. Do not M2. Unless you have to. Like it's at max range. If you can M1 it, do M1 it. Oh, weird. It's just that was very funny. That was like night and day. That was like the perfect double example for this. You tail attack the turret that you're directly above, but the turret that's at max range, you try to M1. Reverse those. If it's at max range, tail attack. If it's up against you, M1 it. You did it backwards. That's funny. Do those in reverse. You're kind of just like hopping in and out of the control stations, not really paying attention to. Like you're getting info on the, and you're running away from footsteps. What you heard that gen being worked on? Go back, go back. You heard that gen being worked on. It was like not only did I have progress, but you heard gen working noises and you ran away from it. Why did you do that? Were you just not paying attention? You heard that gen too, and you ran. What? Yeah. You just heard 2 gens, not only with progress being actively worked on, and you passed both of them. Oh, but you got to turn your volume up or something, because like you're missing extremely crucial information, like over and over. It's not good, especially with a room where you have to push them off to get value. And you just randomly pop out on this gen with 0 information that they're here. So you're just going to randomly go check on your turret instead. Oh no. Even in terms of not using the tunnels, your macro sense should tell you somebody's probably on main gen. Probably worth checking. So the fact that you got and checked that in a while is like crazy. So somebody does the gen, right? Somebody does the gen. So unless a ghost did it, there's somebody right there. So instead of chasing them, you just dive back into the tunnel so you can go hang out some more. Homie, you have Pain Res and Grim, which only go off if you hook someone. Okay, please go pressure them. Unfortunate. You can shoot him over that gap right there. You're at 2 gens. You're at 2 gens. Stuck on something now.
Yeah.
You're gonna leave that. You're gonna leave that pallet up. That is a god pallet. That blocks the whole hallway and it's unsicker and bendable on both sides. You need to kick that. Yep, and it came back to haunt you. Good night, Darth. Thank you for letting us know. Hope we get that situation resolved. Why are you... There's somebody in front of you. Why are you in the tunnels again? What are you doing? Losing my mind. Very slowly. Just need a break. Just need a break. Sorry, didn't mean to bonk the mic. You didn't do anything. It's not your fault. I've heard of telling Xenomorphs to use the tunnels more, but I feel like you've spent more time in the tunnels than you have actually playing the video game. And yes, Chaz, absolutely right. You gotta aim higher. I ironically think you spent more time in the tunnels than you have on the top side of the map this game. Please get rid of it. It's gonna knock you out of here. Hey, you know to do the thing. You know you get your power back 8 times faster in the tunnels. Well, you know that. You do that. That's pretty good. Good job. You did it. That's a good thing to know. Nice shot. Good job. Most people give up on a pallet throw of God pallet and shack, but you can shoot over it depending on what shack you're in, and this is one of them. Good job. Good job. We covered that in the looping section of the Xeno guide. There's graphs and everything. Well, help. Well, help. Actually, coming over. Help me. I don't know what to do. Moral support, man. Moral support. First tuck. happens around 124. When is your next hook? Your next hook happens or 15. That means for 3 whole minutes, you don't down another person. 3 whole minutes, you don't down another person. For 3 whole minutes, this person is not pressuring the map at all. 3 whole minutes of uncontested gen time. So let's get this formal. Go into our main takeaways. Your first main takeaway, and I cannot emphasize this enough, your first main takeaway, you need serious help on how to get the most out of the tunnels. I'm not trying to plug my own thing here, but please bring up the guide and please read the tunnel section. I was not joking earlier. You almost spend more time in the tunnels this game than you do on the top side of the map, which you definitely cannot afford to do on a map as problematic for the Xenomorph as Disturbed Ward is. There are so many times you crawl right past a gen that's actively being worked on and you don't hear it despite it being fairly loud. So either you're playing with your headphones really low or you're just not paying attention, which is not good. I counted at least 3 times in this match that you crawled by a gen that was actively being worked on and did not come up to do it. Even if you did notice the footstep auras, which is what you seem to really enjoy, you didn't come up until you absolutely for sure knew exactly where they were going. You get 12 meters of killer instinct when you hop out of a control station. So you can hop out and potentially get that, and again, a pinpoint ID of exactly where they are. And even then, even if they're not within 12 meters by the time you hop out of a control station, the footstep aura lingers. So you get a half a second to orient yourself and be like, oh, okay, well, they're over here. And then you can go chase them. You seemed, it's like once you went into the tunnels, you had, and I don't mean this in any offensive way, you had like 0 concept of when you should exit them. Like you loved entering the tunnels, but you had 0 concept of how to determine when you should actually exit said tunnels. So you ended up spending most of the game in the tunnel and not chasing the survivors, which especially when all of your perks, despite having what it amounts to quad slowdown, require you to either push them off the gens or get downs. You might as well have been running perkless. So I would very, very much get acquainted with how the tunnels work, how to get the most out of the tunnels, which thankfully I wrote a whole guide on. So that is there for you. Second, chat was right. You aim your tail attack very low. The lower you aim with the tail attack, the more likely you're just going to collide with collision, especially when it comes to ground collision. You found that out several times in this match the hard way by not being able to make it up over a pallet. Generally with the tail attack, you want to aim center mass, which is like from like your butt up to your head in terms of where you want to aim your tail attack. So try aiming at the center mass of survivors and try not to aim low. So this kind of ties into the first one. Your last takeaway is like, you kept disembarking Chase for like no reason to get into the tunnels. And I don't know why. I don't know what the game plan was, but there were several times in this match where like you had somebody that you were either actively chasing or could have easily chased and gotten it down, and you just chose to hop into the tunnel instead. I don't know why you did that, because especially when half of your perks only function off of getting a hook, you need to down and hook people, but you kept dropping Chase to go dive in the tunnels. And I'm not quite sure why you did that, because that meant that half of your perks just kind of sat there doing nothing. So I would, that first one is like emergency, like urgent. Fix that first takeaway like right away, because that is like absolutely the reason you lost. you spent more time in the tunnels than you did topside. Yeah, that obviously break turrets the moment you see them. Absolutely. Thankfully, that only happened one time, but like, yeah, that did happen. Hopefully you use these to get better at the game, especially the Xenomorph. Like I said, thankfully I wrote a whole guide on this, so you do have a resource at your hand that you can study and get better with and learn how to get the most out of these. Happened twice? Did it happen twice? I don't even remember the second time. I was down, slumped in my chair for like the end of that. I was just melted. I was melted for a bit there.